Hello, YouTubers. I want to welcome you to another edition of Bargain Bin Gear. Now, here's something a little different. Recently, I don't know, I was listening to the radio, and they said, hey, there's basically an open mic night at a little kind of import beer bar, if you like. Very small place. And, well, it's not far from my house, quite frankly. You know, it's just down the street. I mean, a couple miles, I guess, you know. Very, very close. And I thought, hey, wait a minute, that might be a good opportunity to try out some things, you know, and see how it works in a live setting, playing live. So basically I went down there just to check it out, ask some questions, and, well, they were pretty adamant, you know, that it's, because it's an open mic night, you'll play, you know, between 15 minutes, maybe a half hour or something like that. And they had a little PA there, and basically said, no, you don't really need to bring any amplifiers or anything like that. In other words, they wanted a real small setup. And so I thought about it for a while, and it just so happened that earlier I had tried the TC Electronics Plethora X5. Which is the, you know, effects unit from TC Electronics. And basically, it has 5 little slots. I did a video on it earlier. Really nice sounding unit. However, it had a built-in cabinet simulation, right? And I have a little PA here at home. It's actually right there. That I use sometimes for bass simulation. But I thought, man, you know, maybe I could go direct, right, using the TC Electronics Plethora right into the PA with no amp or anything. And I tried it here, and it didn't sound bad at all, really. You know, a little different than what I'm used to doing, of course, but very interesting that you could do that. You know, just play direct right into the PA using a cab simulation, right? It was a 4x12 cabinet simulation. So I thought, well, there you go. There's a perfect opportunity to try this and see if it works. I mean, I didn't even know if it was going to work or not. Who knows? You know, so the idea was to bring a guitar, of course, no amplifiers whatsoever, and in fact, one pedal, which is the TC Electronics Plethora, and run that direct into their little PA system, and that's it. Now, would that work, really? I've never done anything like that, you know. I mean, I'm used to playing with my tube amps, of course, you know, which gets the nicest tone for me anyway. But I mean, this would be maybe the perfect opportunity to try and play just direct into the PA with no amplifiers and just this little TC Electronics Plethora cab simulation. So it was close, to where I live, so it wasn't that big a deal to go down there and try it. And so I got there and signed up, to play. There were some other players. Most of them were kind of acoustic players. They had a little Fishman acoustic amp there. And either that or they're playing piano and singing kind of stuff. So I got my little plethora ready, and finally it was my time to play. Now you don't get paid for this. It's just playing in front of an audience, which is great to try. You never know if it's going to work or not. And I was kind of skeptical, quite frankly, of going direct, just using the cab simulation and the plethora. But here you go. Here are the results. I played for about a half hour, I think. And you can check it out here. Okay, so there you go. Now, I guess I should say, this video that you watched, right, has been a little edited by me, where I've cut off some little false starts, you know, where I start looping or couldn't turn off the looper right away, you know, because it has to play a little part before you clear it and things. But basically, that's the idea. So it worked. That's quite amazing, really. Now, I will say, listen, when I was up there playing, you know, it was going through the PA, the big PA speakers. However, I didn't really hear those, so I just had a little tiny monitor speaker, and it was okay, but it wasn't very loud, so it's kind of hard to hear what I was actually playing, you know, especially when I introduced the bass emulation, you know, because the little speaker there, monitor speaker, you couldn't hear it very well, you know. However, turns out it sounded pretty good through the PA with that's no amplifier, and man, I was totally surprised that you could actually do that with just a little plethora X5. And it's kind of interesting because this works into friends of mine just got into modeling, right, with an Axe-FX 3, right, which you could do a similar thing as far as going direct and that kind of thing. So that kind of works into it, ties into it. Now, sound-wise, I think through the big PA, it was pretty good. On stage-wise, with just a little monitor, it wasn't as satisfying anywhere near as playing through an amp, of course, you know. And I probably think the overall sound, maybe an amp would have been better. However, I was only playing there for a half hour, so I wasn't, you know, and there were other players to consider too. So I couldn't spend, you know, 2 hours setting up all these amps and things. You know, I mean, it's basically you get up on stage, you play, and then that's it. And you've got to get off the stage quickly as well. So going direct was the perfect thing. I'd do it again. I'd play direct, you know. I think it's a compromise, quite frankly. You know, would I have liked to have played through my amps? Of course. Of course. And I have to say, from what I understand anyway, that the sound through the big PA speakers was much better than what I was getting through this little monitor speaker, you know, which had a little, you know, small little speaker in it. So it's kind of hard to hear. And I was surprised at how directional the big PA speakers were. I mean, there were two, I think, powered Mackie speakers, the brand Mackie. And, yeah, I couldn't really hear what I was playing. I shouldn't say that but I couldn't hear it through the big PAs. But through the little monitor speaker, I could get the sound. It wasn't very satisfying. As it, you know, I missed the amps, which were much clearer, of course, than this little monitor cabinet. But I was quite surprised when I played back the video. Yeah, the sound quality wasn't, you know, unbearable by any means. And I'll tell you, that's quite something, because I remember trying to go direct, you know, maybe 20 years before that, and it was hopeless. It was terrible sounding. So I was quite impressed, really. Now again, obviously I wish I had my amps, you know, but to know that you're able to play direct like that is quite interesting. Now, there's a couple things, you know, the little monitor speaker didn't really cut it, you know, but if you work this out, I mean, I think you could absolutely play direct. It's quite impressive, really, you know. Now you're giving up a little bit of clarity, feel, and that kind of thing, but it wasn't unbelievably bad or anything. I mean, of course, if I had my choice, I would have played through the amps, especially at home. You know, just much more satisfying sound. Okay, so that's one thing, and so this was worthwhile doing for that reason. The second reason is playing in front of people. Okay, it's always a good experience. You learn quite a bit, you know, as far as setups and, you know, getting on stage quickly and so on and so on, you know. And that's the thing I want to mention here. I think these, the experience of playing live in public and these little open mic nights are perfect for that, you know. That way, you know, you may not have enough material for, you know, an entire show, or you don't want to invest the time and energy in a whole show, but you'd like the experience of playing live. Well, these open mic nights are great for that, as well as you know, testing out different setups and those kinds of things. So you know, if you haven't played live, or you don't play live very often, maybe the open mic nights would be a good idea. And, you know, don't forget, on an open mic night, you know, you can be sure that there's quite a few musicians in the audience, so they'll be nice. You know, I don't think you'll get much heckling or anything like that. And it's a great way to, try out different things. You know, everything from your playing to your sound and setup and those kinds of things. And it's kind of fun. So maybe, you know, I think most towns have little bars with open mic nights. You know, usually an off night or something. This was actually on a Thursday evening. And the fact that it's so close to my home is that I'll probably play there again, you know, because it was a good experience and learned quite a bit. And you may want to look in your town and see if there's some open mic nights. I highly recommend it. And it puts your gear and your playing in focus, you know. Something to consider. All right, very good. See you next time. Okay, bye.